Good afternoon, brothers. Or rather, good morning. JK, your brother in the struggle here on my way back from the gym. And today we're going to be talking about some of the things you can't see while you're trying to end your out of control behavior with porn and masturbation. Just a thought that struck me on my way to the gym, and as I was working out, I try to put it together in a coherent manner so that on my way back, I could share it with you guys. But one of the things that I've noticed with a lot of men who've been struggling with pornography for a long time is that, well, there are two things actually. The first is that there are a lot of blind spots in your life. There are a lot of things that you cannot see while you're trying to do this, especially if you're trying to do this on your own. So again, when you use pornography and masturbate compulsively, you're either trying to deal with some sort of unresolved issue, stress, loneliness, very strong emotions, and so on. And all of these things are influenced by complex factors, right? The reboot itself is not complex. The factors which influence you to get stressed out, the myriad emotions, these things can be complex if you don't have a system to just make it very simple for you. So that's what I mean by blind spots. There's just a lot of things you don't see. There are men who, prior to speaking to me or one of my reboot strategists, had no idea how a strong emotion at the beginning of the day was impacting a relapse at the end of the day. There are guys who don't understand how picking up their phone when they wake up in the morning and going to sit on the toilet and scrolling through that is literally the determining factor as to whether before they go to bed at night, they will have a need to masturbate and go to bed, right? So obviously that's too big a topic to cover in this video. But my point is, first of all, there are lots of blind spots. And the second thing is confirmation bias. At a certain age, you prioritize quite naturally, biologically, looking for things in the world to confirm how you feel. So between the ages of like 1 and 24, 25 years old, as your personality is still developing, which is one of the reasons why I don't work with men over the age of 25 one-on-one, but I do work with men under the age of 25 in a group setting, all right? That's the implementation program. But between the ages of 1 and about 24, 25, as your personality develops, as you get older, like an 8-year-old is better able to learn things and adapt than a 4-year-old, right? A 15-year-old is better at learning and adapting to certain things and seeing things just perception-wise in the world around them as their personality forms, better than an 8-year-old. But once you start getting close to 24, 25 years old and your prefrontal cortex completes or gets a completion of its development, your personality is formed. So then you spend the rest of your life looking for confirmation of the person that you are, looking for confirmation of, like, this is the person I am, these are my values, even if you haven't set any values, looking for confirmation of the things you believe. And guess what? If you spent the ages of 14 years old, 10 years to 24, 25, being a shy person, believing you're a person that was rejected, struggling a lot, not being able to control your sexual behavior, dealing with depression. Here's what happens. When your personality is formed at that stage, you're not going to be able, biologically, to see beyond that. It's very challenging. You can, but it's just very challenging. And so you just look for things in society that confirm that. That's one of the reasons, one of the things you don't see that keeps you stuck in this cycle as well. So you're just like, yeah, it's really difficult to quit porn. You need to go on a streak. I don't have willpower. This is normal. When I go online, I see all these guys who don't have willpower. And this is how you also get taken advantage of by people out there, because you don't know your blind spots. You don't understand that you deal with confirmation bias, right? And I'm sharing this with you, brother, because I've been there before. Right? I've worked with all sorts of people, and I thought that I was making progress with them, but I wasn't, simply because these people were not prioritizing showing me how to identify my blind spots, how to point out my confirmation bias. All they were really doing was taking advantage of these two things, which is why a lot of guys under 25 can quickly get skeptical because there's so many people on the internet right now who are taking advantage of this. And I'm not knocking them, because I think a lot of them don't know they're doing this because they just don't have the expertise or they haven't dealt with this behavior. But back to what I was saying, the problem with all of this is that, brother, we live in an increasingly complex world. The problems we have to solve in this world are beyond our processing capacities, right? Just the sheer number of variables. I'll give you an example. Like, we are not designed to consume large amounts of pornography. You're not designed to view as many clips as you viewed last night when you slipped or relapsed. Your brain literally cannot handle it even once, let alone 5 times, 6 times, 10 times. That's just not how nature designed your brain. And so many of you are literally destroying your brain because there's just that blind spot there. And sometimes when that blind spot is revealed to you, it makes all of this so much easier. Because you're not dumb, you're not stupid. You just need to see it clearly once, or you need to have it explained by a professional in a way that you, with your personality, your background, your culture, whatever it is, that you can actually relate to it, right? Right now we live in a world that is post-COVID, right? There's so many things happening that you may not see. You may think you're living in a bubble, but they impact you one way or the other. These are complex problems that we are not able to deal with, and many of us lack the emotional regulation that is required to live in this world and reboot. You need a little extra. I've talked about not being a civilian. You cannot be a civilian because your emotional regulation is off. Your default is to numb yourself with porn and masturbation or sex. And if you're sexually satiated, which means that you've relapsed to the point that your dick won't even shoot out anything, to be crude, then you're going to just end up watching YouTube, vegging out, watching movies, Netflix, playing video games, and stupid shit that you're just like, why am I doing this? Why do I feel so demotivated? Right? So, brother, it's just some of the things you're up against. It's some of the things that you cannot see. Right? I don't know if the format in which I'm sharing this makes sense, but I hope it's information that can help you. Personally, when I realized that there were all these blind spots, I realized two things. I realized that, number one, I either had to find somebody who was really good at showing me these blind spots, and number two, I needed to learn how to get good at dealing with them, right? Dealing with the blind spots, confronting my confirmation bias, and so on. And so what I started doing was that I started looking for professionals and mentors who could help me in these areas, not just with my behavior with pornography, but other parts of my life. And to be honest with you, till today, I still invest a lot in professionals who help me in other areas of my life, because my commitment is just a continuous growth, continuous understanding of myself, so as to be able to help other people. Right? So in your case, my recommendation, brothers, is, number one, first start putting aside time during the day to reflect. When people talk about journaling, when people talk about understanding your feelings and emotions, when people talk about meditation, when people talk about setting aside a time just for solitude and to think, what they're actually talking about is the time that you're going to use to identify these blind spots. And some of us are moving so fast, or rather so slow, because we're in a relapse, that we just never make the time to see these things. That's the first thing. And the final thing is, if you know you don't have the time, if you're a very busy professional and you're like, yo, JK, I cannot even slow down. I can't slow down. The only way this shit is gonna work for me is if I'm kept accountable. That's how I've always done things. If it's like on my calendar and I have no choice but to do it, then I will do it. Then you might want to seriously consider clicking on the link in the description below this video and getting on a call with one of our reboot strategists. All of them have control over their behavior. My reboot strategists themselves, prior to joining me, were very successful, man. So they can relate to you if you're one of those gentlemen who just doesn't have the time. Get on a call. And during the call, I want you to do one very simple thing. You don't need to say much, just answer their questions and find out if they can identify your blind spots. and identify your confirmation bias. If they can't, don't even consider working with us, right? But if they can, still doesn't mean you should work with us, but I think you should consider it if you feel that the blind spot is something that was like worthy of diving deeper into. Because at the end of the day, if you're still masturbating and you're still, oh my God, I relapse every few months, every few weeks, I can't seem to be consistent. There's nothing wrong with getting help, right? You're not weak, right? The thing that got you to where you are successfully in life is not the thing that's going to help you control your behavior with pornography. Because remember, like I said earlier, there's so many things in society that are already holding us back in our culture. It takes so much, I'm sure, for you to take care of your family, to take care of your body, to take care of your kids, to manage your business or a side business if you're working at a career, the commute, your hobbies. On top of all of that, do you really think that you have the mental capability to deal with a debilitating addiction to high-speed internet pornography? Do you really think you can do that? Like, and all I'm asking is that you just, from everything I'm saying in this video, you just consider that. Just think about that part. Like, do I really have what it takes? Because I don't know about you, but there are areas of my life I want to develop, but I just don't have the capacity to do it. And even if I did have the capacity to do it, I don't have the accountability. Even though I could do that if I put aside 45 minutes a day to do it, but bullshit. I'm not going to bullshit myself. I know I'm not going to put aside 45 minutes to do that. Why? Because my personality is already set. Like, I already know what I would prefer to do. I already know what's going to make JK happy. JK is going to be happier, like, instead of sitting down to, let's say, journal, all right? I might go like, you know what? I prefer to just go to the gym a second time today. That's an example, right? I prefer to go to a gym a second time today because I feel that I know, that's what I'll tell myself, that that's going to make me better. Is that really going to make me better? I already went to the gym once and had a great workout. But something is telling me that I have to go a second time instead of doing the thing that I don't want to do, all right? So gentlemen, seriously, think about this. I would like to hear back from you in the comment section, so let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you for listening. I'm JK, your brother in this struggle, and remember, if you feel that you have a lot of blind spots, ain't nothing wrong with getting on a call with us. Take care.